Hi, welcome to Infodumpies. My name's Brianne. I'm autistic, I have ADHD, my pronouns are she, her, and dermatologists hate me, not because I know this one weird trick, but because I've stolen their identities. All of them.
Hi, my name's Violet. My pronouns are she, her. I have ADHD, and I have heard the rumors, and I want to dispel them. It is true. I have skin.
Whoa, really?
I just want to come out of the closet and say, yep, I have skin. I've always had skin. I'm a skin person. I'm covered in it.
Yeah.
Head to toe. Yeah,
Head to toe, toe to tip, taint to toot.
No.
I don't know. That's not a long distance taint to toot, now is it?
Not really. It's about like an inch or more,
yeah.
depending on who, some people it may vary, but
Elongated taint syndrome.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, today it's a me episode.
Yay.
And I've been trying. Okay, so I've been trying very hard not to do too many skincare ones in a row. So this is only my third skincare one in about 50 episodes.
And y'all, when I tell you that she loves skincare,
yeah,
this
has been me showing restraint. But it took a single comment on Spotify that said you should do more skincare stuff. That I was like, all right, don't twist my arm. And I decided to do a skincare one this time.
Oh, God, if I have to, I've already got one prepared.
Everyone wants me to do one.
So you want me to talk about the thing I love most talking about? Okay, I guess.
So today, we're talking about, besides sunscreen, my favorite skincare ingredient. Now, do you know what this is?
Creatine.
No, that's not for skincare. That's for strong.
I see. Okay. I'll get. How many guesses do I get? Three guesses. Is that fair?
Maybe. Yeah.
All right. So it's not creatine. Skincare ingredient. Nut butter. Almond butter.
In skincare.
I don't know.
Think
ingredient.
chemistry. Think chemistry. What do I put on my face every night?
Salicylic acid?
No, I do not.
I don't know the chemistry very well. It's a cream. I know this. It's either a cream or an oil of some kind.
There you go. We're going to talk about retinoids today.
Oh, of course, the retinoids. Those funky little aliens that come down and make your skin look good.
I knew you were going to say they were aliens. I knew it. I have it in my notes.
I am a retinoid.
A retinoid. So
I want to believe in retinoids.
Well, you're going to after this because they're pretty fucking cool. So there's some current pseudoscience. It's like retinoids thin your skin, blah, 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 blah. I am not one of those hippy dippy beef tallow people who makes my own sunscreen. I believe in the scientific method and that we don't have toxic stuff in our skincare. So if you're not prepared to hear about retinoids in a positive light, this is not the episode for you. But if you've heard the term retinoid or retinol and you're like, I don't know what it is, and at this point I'm afraid to ask, this is for you. So
yeah, absolutely. And the government doesn't want us to tell you about, Area
retinoids.
51 and their experimental retinoids that they've been working on, the experimental retinoid technology that they found crash landed in Nevada.
So, do you know what retinoids are? They're not aliens.
I do remember a little bit of what you told me about them. I know that they increase the cell turnover speed, like the rate at which your skin makes new skin cells, and that can make your skin more youthful, more.
But do you know what they are?
Oh, like what the chemical actually is?
Yeah.
I don't. Honestly, I don't. I would assume maybe it's some kind of oil or...
Nope. Retinoids are a family of compounds. So we're going to talk about everything under the retinoid umbrella, really, at least touch on it. But retinoids are a family of vitamin A derivatives that bind to and activate retinoic acid receptors, which is a vitamin A derivative in the skin. And each retinoid has a structure really similar to vitamin A. And like our eyeballs actually have a bunch of retinoic acid in them. So when we get dietary vitamin A, it gets converted into retinoic acid for our eyeballs. So that's the whole carrots make your eyes better thing.
Oh, okay. So if you kill somebody and you want to use every part of the buffalo, squeeze the eyeball juice out onto your skin.
They're less nasty ways to get your retinoids.
Okay.
They're much more
got it.
cosmetically elegant ways.
Got it.
Why use a retinoid? Well, retinoids are specifically tretinoin, which is the prescription one that I use, but retinoids in general, they are one of the most studied skincare ingredients right behind SPF.
So you're telling me Trent and Owen are retinoids?
Trent and Owen is like the
Nice.
creme de la creme of retinoids.
Nice.
So why would one want to use a retinoid? Well, until your 30s.
Skin good.
Skin good, yes. Skin healthy, really, is the thing that I like. So
that makes sense.
Until your early 30s, your skin cells turn over, and by that I mean the old ones slough off, new ones start getting made from the bottom, and it kind of turns over every 28 days. Once you hit your mid-30s, it starts to slow down, and not just a little bit, it starts to slow down like a whole fucking bunch. So that's why a lot of people in their mid-30s are like, why do I suddenly look so fucking old? Like, I know there are peaks where people go, God, overnight, I seem to have aged overnight. Like, really common thing. A lot of that skin cell turnover. So when you hit your mid-30s, depending on a lot of factors like genetics and lifestyle and stuff, it can slow down as much to every 50 to 70 days your skin cells turn over.
Oh. And I imagine it only gets worse from there.
Slightly worse, but the collagen starts thinning on the like deepest level of the skin too, because part of that collagen refreshing itself is part of that skin cell turnover process. But this leaves a lot of old skin cells at the stratum corneum, which is the very top layer of skin cells that will slough off eventually. And it can make your skin look dull and dry and exacerbate the look of a lot of wrinkles. So,
I see.
Yeah, so I'm going to say skin wrinkles, and we all get older. If you listen to my sunscreen episode, you know that I'm not trying to be one of those people who's like, fix every line on my face. I must look like a porcelain doll. No, skin health is the thing that I'm really about. And wrinkles are a sign that your skin is thinning, and I just want to have the healthiest skin possible for as long as possible. My skin will thin. It will. That just happens when you get older. But if I can help it out, it is the largest organ in my body. Besides my dick. I have to do that every time I say skin is the largest organ.
That's fair.
But it helps with skin cell turnover. So there is a glow people say when people are using retinoids, and that glow is that top layer of skin cells has been sloughed off faster, and you get more light reflecting off the skin because you don't have a bunch of old dead skin cells on top.
That makes sense. Like from a light perspective, when you have a smoother surface, it's shinier, more reflective generally. If you think about like a glossy image versus a matte photo, you know, it's the exact same type of thing where more of the light is getting reflected back with a glossy image, whereas a matte image, it gets stuck in those little nooks and crannies.
Absolutely. The reason I started using a prescription retinoid at 17 is because dead skin cells clogging your pores is part of how acne develops.
Oh.
So retinoids increase how frequently these skin cells turn over and get sloughed off, and that helps prevent acne before it even starts. So I first started using tretinoin at 17. I've been on all kinds of acne medications. I started getting acne at age 8, and tretinoin was the first thing that actually helped me not have a bunch of horribly inflamed cystic acne on my face all of the time. So retinoids, and I'll get into what tretinoin is specifically, they have a very nice place in my heart because your mental health when you have a bunch of cystic acne, which I will say to anyone who has acne, is not your fault. A lot of people try to say, wash your face, change your sheets, do all of this. Huge part of that is genetics. Last time I spoke to my mom, she was 60, and she still was getting acne because we just got genetics for it. And even with my skincare routine, I still have like a mark from my last period because I got a big honk in one of my forehead. It just happens sometimes. Yeah. So
and my whole family, we're just like, you'll have a handful of zits for a couple years while you're a teen, and then I feel like once we hit like 20, we just basically stop getting acne altogether, and we're fortunate in that regard.
Bitch.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Violet is one of those people who could wash her face with hand soap and be fine.
I could. I won't, but I could absolutely do that.
She could, absolutely. She could get away with it.
Yeah.
Another thing it helps do is helps your skin preventatively against free radicals. Vitamin A is an antioxidant, and your skin will store it. And when you have UV radiation affecting your skin, which can cause DNA damage, you have some soldiers on board to help prevent that damage. So a retinoid can also help prevent skin cancer if it's paired with an SPF.
Nice. And you mentioned something about free radicals, and that sounds pretty fucking awesome.
But
they do in fact damage your skin?
They do, yes. They damage your skin. So it will steal a little molecule from the retinoids, and then it's no longer a free radical and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, also hyperpigmentation. So after you've had a pimple, there's the red mark. Retinoids help make that go away before it has a chance to become permanent. And I could talk about hyperpigmentation. There's a whole cascade, and different ingredients can kind of stop it at different points and where it would become more permanent and be deeper in your skin. But anyway, retinoids help with hyperpigmentation. They're amazing. They can help anything from acne, hyperpigmentation, melasma, sunspots, wrinkles, milia, which are the little white things you can get around your eye, the little white bumps, keratosis pilaris. Now, there are some natural and also synthetic retinoids. One is not better than the other, but we'll also talk about some of the synthetic ones because thanks to science, retinoids in general help influence the proliferation of different types of cells. So some of the modern synthetic ones are hyper-specific and can help treat very specific dermatological issues because they've fine-tuned the retinoid, right?
Interesting, yeah. And that kind of actually brings a question to mind. I don't know if you've done any research or if there's been any research done on this. Do you know if retinoid would help with like wound healing potentially, since it's increasing the rate at which your cells are like turning over?
So it is not something you want to put on a wound because there's actually something I'll talk about here in a little bit called matrix metalloproteinase that is needed for wound healing that retinol stops like in its tracks.
Oh no. Okay.
But it doesn't mean retinol is going to like make your face damaged. Matrix metalloproteinase is made to break down collagen and elastin. So when you have a damaged area from a wound, it helps break some of that down to remodel it. So you wouldn't want a retinoid getting away. Now, after it's closed over and there's a scar, absolutely hit that with some retinoid to help reduce the hyperpigmentation and stuff.
Okay, cool.
So I've had a few surgical scars where I was like, I can apply a retinoid here and reduce how visible that's going to be after it's all closed up and not crusty and stitches are gone and stuff.
Is there a point where it's too late to apply a retinoid to a scar to help the visibility of the scar?
Technically, yes, but it literally doesn't hurt to try it and see if it makes a difference.
Sure, true.
So,
okay, cool.
So retinoids are something that you also have to use for a long period of time to see them work. So if they're working on skin cell turnover, and that is 28 days when you're a youngin' and longer when you're not, it can take several months to see them work. So when I first got put on a prescription one for my acne, I was told to come back in 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Because that was how long it would take to really see if it was going to be working.
I see. That makes sense.
If you're using it for other reasons, the results get better and better as you go. So it's really wonderful. So there's a family of retinoids. Retinoid is an umbrella term for all of these derivatives. Some of them are cosmetically available over the counter, and you'll see them in a bunch of cosmetic skincare stuff. And then some of them are prescription, and you have to get them through a dermatologist. And then you have one that is over the counter, but not cosmetic, that I will get into and is regulated as a drug. So your skin uses it in the form called retinoic acid, right? When you are getting retinol over the counter, retinol has to be converted to retinaldehyde, and then retinaldehyde has to be converted to retinoic acid. So the amount of retinoic acid your skin is able to use is much less because it loses its potency as it has to go through those processes to get turned into something it can use.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I'm going to start at the weakest available retinoid, and then we're going to work our way up to the queen of the show, tretinoin.
Gotcha.
If you're looking at skincare, you'll find something called retinol esters. This is the weakest, babyest form, and I hate it. I hate it so much.
Got it. Yeah, they're called esters because they're like the little old ladies of the alien colony.
They're just a little old ladies. So there are several different types of retinol esters that you'll see in cosmetics. The most common one is retinol palmitate. And it is often, so some skincare things will say, ooh, has a 1.1% or 1% retinol complex. The complex means they've mixed probably retinol with retinol esters and said, ooh, our proprietary blend, but really it's less good for your skin because it has the weakest, babyest form. So a lot of the ones that are marketed as being gentler and stuff are just a blend of retinol esters, which I don't think they're worth your time. So
yeah, it's like them being like, our special skincare cream is made with proprietary secret formula that we can't tell it to anyone, and it turns out it's just like 10% ash or something like that.
Well, retinol esters, so your skin stores it in this form for like long-term use, but it's not easily absorbed by the skin. So retinol esters have to then get turned into retinol, which then has to get turned into retinaldehyde, which then has to get turned into retinoic acid. But they're not easily absorbed into the skin like retinol. So a lot of the time, a good chunk of the retinol esters you've applied to your skin are just sitting on the surface, which creates a problem when they are met with UV exposure. So So there's some small evidence that it can help reduce some UVB damage, and UVB is what makes you burn. If you're thinking of UVA and UVB, UVA, you feel age, and it makes the wrinkles more. It damages collagen. It is also responsible for the development of some melanomas, though, too. So UVA is also related to skin cancer, but to a lesser degree, a more specific range of them. So UVA is you will age, and UVB is you will burn. So
that's handy. That's a good little mnemonic.
Yeah, so the UVB is what makes your skin burn, right? They did a small in vivo study, and in vivo means in people, where they applied the cream to some people's asses that had retinol palmitate and then gave them a little bit of a sunburn on purpose, and it helped reduce some of the erythema, which is the redness. But
why their butt?
No clue. I just laughed because it said applied to the buttocks, and I was like, all right.
Such an odd place to get a sunburn.
But it was helpful because it, provided some buffer as far as helping out with the sun damage. But there's also some concern that when it's exposed to UVA, it breaks down and creates what are known as reactive oxygen species. So those are things that oxidize. The things that one would want an antioxidant to get rid of.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and you know what? I just realized why they probably applied it to the butt.
Huh.
Because that's a place that's very unlikely to have existing sun damage, I'm guessing.
Oh, true. You know what? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's where the sun don't shine.
Quite literally, yeah. So when it is met with UVA rays, it creates reactive oxygen species, which are oxidizing things. And that is the opposite of what someone using a retinol is wanting it to do in the first place. So it penetrates skin too slowly. So the amount that stays on the surface will undergo photoreaction more quickly than something like retinol, which is the next step in the hierarchy. So theoretically, and there hasn't been sufficient evidence yet to sort of say there's a causal link between the two, but theoretically, having more reactive oxygen species on your skin and more oxidation can increase your risk of skin cancer.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
So even if it doesn't, it's still not doing anything helpful, right?
Yeah.
And there was
it seems like the worst way to go about this process, basically.
Yeah, and there was another double-blind study that showed that retinol palmitate did nothing more to improve skin health than just the normal lotion that the control group was given.
Oh, geez. So against the what's the term? Placebo.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
wild.
So I wanted to cover those real quickly because it's really popular that they get put in things. So next in the hierarchy is retinol, which is probably the most commercially available in cosmetics. Now, one of the downsides of retinoids is that they can be pretty irritating. So when you're starting to use a retinoid, it's smart to start with one of the weaker forms and kind of work your way up to help your skin get used to it. So a lot of people will start with an over-the-counter retinol, work their way up to like a retinaldehyde, and other things as their skin gets used to it. So if you're wanting to dive into using a retinoid, retinol is probably a nice place to start. So retinol has to get turned into retinaldehyde in your skin, and then it gets turned into retinoic acid. So it only has to take 2 jumps to get to the form that your skin can actually use.
Yeah, that's not bad.
This is the gentlest retinoid you can get over the counter that actually has evidence that it does something. And while it hasn't been studied for acne, some folks anecdotally claim that it helps theirs. And I'm in the same camp. There have been a few times where I haven't had my prescription strength retinoid and I've had to use a regular retinol. And obviously it's not going to do the same job as my prescription strength stuff, but it absolutely helps. And I have it, I like to use it. It's in a lot of body lotion now too, which it's also helpful in areas where I'm prone to body acne. And if you do decide to try a retinol body lotion, the one thing I will say is make sure you don't apply it to a tattoo that's less than 3 months old.
Oh, yeah, because you don't want that skin turning over too fast.
Exactly. So after 3 months, your macrophages are already holding on to it. It's safe. And after 3 months, it can actually help your tattoos look brighter and crisper because you're getting rid of that layer of dead skin cells on the top that will occlude how the art looks. So that's why
you're cleaning the window.
Yeah, that's why my absolute freshest looking tattoo is actually the big moth on my chest, because I bring my retinoid down to my chest. So it's constantly getting my skincare ingredients. So Mothra looking fresh all the time.
Yeah, and it really does look still quite new, even though that's over a year old now, right?
No, it's like 4 years old.
Oh yeah, 4 years. Oh my God, yeah.
I got this in Amsterdam.
Right. I don't know why I thought I got that mixed up with a different tattoo, but you've got a lot of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it still looks like really great. It doesn't look like a 4-year-old tattoo at all.
Yeah, and this is where I was like, I got this tattoo and I went, hold on. I should not apply my tretinoin down here, huh? When can I apply it down here? When is it safe? And I went like searching, and it took a lot to find where it was safe to apply it, because there was not a lot of information about that. But I did find a study where it said 3 months, you're good. Cool. And in my notes, I will include some of my favorite over-the-counter versions of these things too. Any skincare recommendations I make are going to be cruelty-free and vegan. But if you are a Patreon supporter and you have access to our notes, I will be including some of my favorite options in each of the retinoid categories. So I will make some retinol recommendations there. So next up, retinaldehyde. Retinaldehyde, when you are just hearing the name, can get confusing because some cosmetics just call it retinal. So you have retinol and retinal, and they sound so similar, and depending on the accent of the person who's saying it, they are virtually indistinguishable. So I'm saying the full name, retinaldehyde, but if you're looking for it in skincare, very often on the front of the bottle or jar or whatever, it'll just say retinal.
Got it.
Again, your skin just has to take this retinaldehyde and then turn it into retinoic acid. And then your skin can use it. So I should mention too, all retinoids usually have a percentage listed on the bottle. So a 1% retinol is not going to be as strong as a 1% retinaldehyde, because the retinol has to get turned into retinaldehyde and then retinoic acid, right? So that 1% is going to get broken down a lot, and there's not as much you can use. But since the retinaldehyde only has to go through one process to get used by your skin, a 1% retinaldehyde is going to be quite a bit stronger than the 1% retinol.
Yeah.
So
more potent. Yeah.
More potent. So just something to consider there. So retinaldehyde is becoming more popular, I think. It's more easily available, and I think in the past few years I found more products that contain it. Like, there's a really great eye cream from the person, Beauty of Joseon, who makes the sunscreen we get. They make an eye cream with it. It's lovely. Lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
So
I love their stuff.
So that is one of the strongest cosmetically available ones over the counter.
Nice.
So now we're going to get into the over-the-counter one that is actually regulated like a drug.
Interesting. Okay.
Personally, if I were going to start using a retinoid for the first time and I couldn't get a prescription, I would actually start with this one and just start using it slowly. So in my notes, I'm going to include a link to a video by one of my favorite YouTube dermatologists, Dr. Dre, that talks about how to start using and titrating a retinoid. I don't know if you know what titrating. So basically, when you start a medication and they say, okay, you're going to take this lower dose for a couple weeks, then we're going to up your dose after that for the next couple weeks and see how you do. And they kind of slowly onboard you onto a medication. You might not have been on one like that.
No, I haven't actually, but that's interesting. That makes sense for certain meds. I could see them doing that.
With retinoids, the prescription ones, and this over-the-counter one, adapalene, I would probably just start with this, because adapalene, your skin treats it like it is retinoic acid. It goes through no steps.
Oh.
It doesn't have to go through any steps.
That trambapaline, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
The adapalene, yes. So adapalene, you might know as Differin.
Oh, I have. Okay, I didn't know they were the same thing, but I have heard of Differin.
Differin is the brand. The actual compound is called adapalene.
Got it. Trambapaline.
So can we say the correct one for people?
Sorry.
So they know what they're looking for.
Sorry. So there's the Simpsons joke where I think it's Homer Simpson who sees a trampoline and goes, Trambapaline.
I know.
Sorry.
But adapalene is one of the synthetic retinoids. So there's been less studied about adapalene, but there's some pretty recent studies that show that it also helps get rid of sun damage. So if it's helping get rid of sun damage, it is because it's increasing skin cell turnover, which would make one assume it also helps build and helps your skin produce more collagen like the other retinoids. Some people will say it doesn't help with that stuff because this is one of the synthetic ones that is specifically fine-tuned to help acne. So it is fine-tuned, and it helps reduce that oil production in the oil glands to help with acne. But it also increases skin cell turnover. So I think if you're diving into retinoids for the first time, I'd just start with this one. Honestly, it's the best bang for your buck. I would start using it one night a week, see how you do for a week. Try 2 nights a week, see how you do after that. 3 nights, and just work your way up slowly. When I haven't had access to my prescription, I get from CVS, I get an adapalene.
Love it. Yeah.
And I'll just give you this recommendation for free. There is a version called acne-free adapalene, and they are cruelty-free and vegan.
Oh, nice.
Love it. Recommend it. That is the strongest over-the-counter one you can get. Now we're getting into the big boys, the prescription ones that I'm going to kind of lightly touch on. I'm going to give, since we're already talking about synthetic ones, I'm going to talk about 2 other synthetic ones. So there's tazarotene and trifarotene. So tazarotene was created specifically for psoriasis.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, some people...
Oh, yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that would help with that.
Yeah, so they fine-tuned this one to help with cell proliferation and inflammation, both of which are mechanisms responsible for the development of plaques in people with psoriasis. And it can also help with the hyperpigmentation from old plaques that are healing.
Okay, cool. That's a smart use of it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so now we're going to get to my queen tretinoin that I use every single day. I love her. I rarely get acne anymore, and when I do, it's not as bad. I will use it as forever and ever. I love it so much. I love not having cystic acne. Also, it helps me look free shavakadu.
Mm-hmm.
It helps my skin look nice. I feel great. No complaints.
Yeah, and I can vouch she looks great. She feels great.
So this is straight up retinoic acid. You put
just straight up.
You put it on your skin, and your skin goes, yum, 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 I can use this.
Cool.
But because it doesn't have to go through steps for your skin to be able to use it, it is potentially the most irritating.
Oh, right. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Your skin goes, holy shit, this shit's strong.
Yes. But one of the great things is it comes in different percentages.
Oh, cool.
So I use a 0.025, which doesn't sound like a lot. But in studies, they've shown that after a year of use, even with the strongest tretinoin, the results are still the same after a year. It just does it more slowly. So in my mind, use it consistently. Don't worry about all the irritation that the stronger ones can cause you. Just use the weaker one regularly, and then you're in it for the long run and benefit, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So, like I said, it helps with hyperpigmentation, it helps with wrinkles, it helps with acne, it helps with melasma, it helps with all kinds of stuff. And it also helps block something called activator protein 1. And activator protein 1 activates what I talked about earlier, matrix metalloproteinases. And these enzymes are responsible for breaking down collagen, which, again, for wound healing is great because it needs to remodel the area and stuff. But when those are overactive, and that can happen when your skin undergoes UV damage and stuff, those can become overactive. It can break down collagen and cause premature skin aging. So not only does tretinoin help your skin start making more of its own collagen, it proactively prevents the premature breakdown of the collagen you already have.
Interesting, yeah. I mean, I feel like between this and sunscreen, like it's as close as we're going to get to the fountain of youth kind of stuff, you know?
Literally, if there are two things I would say anyone should use, the number one is sunscreen, and if you want to get a little fancier, a retinoid. I think most people could find some sort of benefit from one.
Nice.
So, yeah, I love tretinoin. So what I will say for all of these is you must, every single day, without fail, use a sunscreen. It is non-negotiable. So because it is making that outer layer of dead skin cells thinner, the deeper layers of your skin are more exposed to UV. So there used to be this belief that, you shouldn't use your retinoid in the summer because it'll make you burn more easily, and you shouldn't, that retinoids made you more sensitive to the sun. They're not actually making you, the person, more sensitive to the sun. They are just getting rid of this sort of blockage that you had in these dead skin cells that kept some of the UV from getting through. So if you're practicing proper sun care, which includes sunscreen and hats and trying to stay out during the peak UV times and doing all of that good sun behavior, retinoids might be something for you to try. If you have trouble remembering to use sunscreen regularly and you're someone who will not do it, don't bother. You might as well be lighting your money on fire, and you're probably going to make your skin worse. That's fair. I don't know how many times in the 30+ skincare subreddit I've seen people say, wow, my skin looks so much worse using tretinoin. What am I doing wrong? Here's my skincare routine. And then someone goes, where's the sunscreen? And the person says, I don't use it. And they're like,
Ugh,
okay, you fucking dink.
that's why.
It says all over like the box and the tube and absolutely everything that comes with your tretinoin prescription that you gotta use sunscreen. And it's for good reason.
Right.
For very good reason. So
Yeah, absolutely.
but yeah, I love it. I feel it has a special place in my heart because anyone who deals with acne, especially cystic acne, can tell you that it is really rough on your mental health. And I felt like I didn't want people to look at me for a good chunk of my childhood because of my acne. I got bullied for it. I got put on a bunch of antibiotics, which I learned from Sawbones. One might have turned my bones green.
Yeah, which, I mean, hey, if it does, that's not the end of the world.
That's
but
not
also,
the end of the world, but also
it's kind of weird.
I went through so much, and everyone who doesn't have acne or gets the occasional pimple seems to think they know how to fix it, and like the person dealing with cystic acne must be doing something wrong. You're not. It's not your fault, and I just love this because it made me feel like I look like myself when I very much struggled with my self-image for a long time. So it has a special place in my heart. It helped my mental health, which is not something you can say for a lot of skincare stuff, but starting to use tretinoin helped my mental health. So in the notes for Patreon, I will have my personal recommendations for stuff I have personally tried from each of the retinoid family, including retinol body lotion, which if you get keratosis pilaris, or I think people call it strawberry skin too, those little rough bumps in the back of your arms and legs, it helps out a ton. I love this shit for that. So
yeah, I like it too. And the thing that I struggle with is just remembering to use it and sunscreen consistently. But when I have managed to do that, I have noticed a definite improvement. So
yeah, I love it.
'Cause I have KP. Yeah.
But yeah, that's retinoids. It's a beautiful family, except retinol esters. We don't talk about her.
Yeah, I think I have a good understanding now. So, not aliens.
Not
just
aliens.
To be clear.
Vitamin A.
Okay. Cool.
Vitamin A.
Cool. Vitamin A.
And
cool.
if you're interested in using tretinoin, there's a lot of telehealth stuff where you can get a tretinoin prescription and not have to go in.
Yeah, that was a good informative lesson in skin stuff, and every single one so far. I know this is your third skincare one. That's a lot of good information.
I've been trying not to blow my load on these skincare ones. the absolute restraint.
She's been gooting on skincare knowledge.
Absolutely edging my skincare dumps.
Oh, Lord.
Friends, if you like this episode, you can thank our Patreon supporters like Chamberlain Foreman, Nunya B, Kate Mishigoose, Kate Genius, Chibs1012, Dave Perrell, Megan E, Carl Brooks, Natasha Neves, Gus, Lucy, Helen Clifford, B. Trossler, Sewing Seraph, Rachel Rachelson, Fintago, and Randy Lovings. And you know the usual, if you want to help us out, you can tell other people about the show. We don't take paid ads, and we also don't pay to advertise. So the way we grow is entirely by word of mouth. And every time you share the show with someone, or in a subreddit you're in, or in a Facebook group you're in, or a Discord server you're in, you help our show grow. And that's an easy way to support the Mixnomer gang. If you're in a place to support us monetarily, you can go to the show details for a link to the Mixnomer Patreon page. This will get you bonus material for this show and any other show that we do at Mixnomer. And like for this episode, that's where all of my notes and my retinoid recommendations will be. So all the notes for Infodumpies that we do are available on the Patreon, so you can go on a deeper dive and look at our sources. Another way you can help us out is by subscribing on your podcatcher of choice and leaving a nice review and or rating. This helps us get recommended in the algorithms more and helps more people find our show organically. And if you want to hang out with us, you can go to the show details to find a link to the Mixnomer Discord server. We have a couple of regular weekly events like body doubling and a Stitch and Bitch, where it's what it says on the label. We work on some sort of needlework thing, and not even bitch about stuff, just chat. And honestly, the needlework part is optional. Some people edit YouTube videos and stuff while they hang out. It's really fun. We do game streams and other stuff, and if you want to hang out with some like-minded neurodivergent weirdos, go find the link. Go come hang out with us. That's all I've got for you this time, my friends. Until next time, clever sign off.